It may be a new year, but we have more to talk about following our December conversation with Mayor Paul Reinke. That's coming up on this edition of Oakdale Update. I'm Frank Orsello, your host, and I'm pleased to welcome back the mayor to continue our conversation. Paul, welcome back to Oakdale Update.
Hi, Frank. It sure is nice to be back.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw the tape of the last edition we did, and it was a wonderful. You did a very good job. So we're going to see if you can do it again.
Very good.
So we have to, and just to let our audience know that we ran out of time last time because there was so much going on in Oakdale. So we're going to pick it up on it now.
Very good.
Okay, so let's start out. I just want you to give a quick rundown of who you are and what you do, and with that. Okay.
Well, thanks, Frank. This is my 6th year as mayor. The first 2 was an appointment when Mayor Kowalski was successful at election to the county board. So they appointed me to finish his term for 2 years, and then I was elected for 4 years, and I'm just finishing that this year. Prior to that, it had been as a councilor for since 2005, since 2004, somewhere around there. So all in total, this is 17 or 18 years that I've been able to be involved in this role.
Are you still loving it, or is it getting to be a chore?
You know, love is not it, but enjoyment.
Enjoyment?
Same with fun. Is it fun? It's fun sometimes, but it's really enjoyable and high satisfaction. One of the reasons it's high satisfying is what we just talked about. We have so many things going on in Oakdale.
Sure.
There are so many good things going on to help people live their lives the way they want to, that huge amount of satisfaction.
Well, that is really good, because if you didn't like going to work every day, you don't want to go to work. Which reminds me, what do you do for work?
So I've been in the real estate construction business for, 36, 37 years. The last 8 has been with my own company called Silver Oak Development, where I'm a development management person that can help anybody build a building really anywhere in the 5-state area. My preference is to stay in the Twin Cities.
Is that right? So what does that mean? Somebody comes to you, I have got 10 acres over here I want to develop, and then you help them develop it, correct?
Right. And people come with different levels of abilities and desires. So, example, if you wanted to build a new building on your 10-acre spread, but you knew all about construction, but you needed help on the entitlements or the planning piece in the building permits, I can help there. Or I can help on the construction. Or if your uncle is an architect, you don't need any help there. But if he's not, somebody to put the architecture team and the engineering team together, and then take it all the way through construction, assisting in the finance piece also, to allow it to eventually be built and occupied.
To piggyback on that, in our last EDC meeting, we had 3 developers. I think they're called developers, or they're the people that you go to, that you were saying, maybe like you. And they were talking, they were so up on the development that's going on in the metro area, the whole metro area. And all 3 of these developers said they've never seen it like this before. And Oakdale is definitely included in that.
We certainly are. The amount of square footage between Oakdale, we'll have 750,000 feet of square footage easily. Again, we're going to have 1,400 units of housing over the next 6 years. And then tag team with Lake Elmo and Maplewood and North St. Paul, there is well in excess of 1 million square feet, 2 million square feet.
And now housing, you're talking housing?
The whole
everything,
elements,
everything? Okay. So I have to ask a question here. I was recently out by the Lake Elmo Airport, and they're just building on the Shilkin property over in Lake Elmo, house after house after house. So I have to ask, you must know this, where are all these people coming from?
You know, it's a variety. And think about what's working in our favor and it's a sad, sad situation for the Twin Cities proper, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So the people who have experienced that difficulty in both communities, in both cities, are saying, some of them are saying enough's enough. So they're moving east, believe it or not. Our housing market is a little bit less costly than moving west, and the amenities that we have, boy, you think about St. Croix, you think about Lake Elmo Park, you think about our own Oakdale Discovery Center, you think about the things that we have here, and our school systems, and our business opportunities, and our proximity to Wisconsin. This East Metro is just phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
So they're coming from all over the metro. They're coming from imports or implants, coming from transfers for businesses. They're coming from kids who have been waiting till the opportunity is right, who have been living with mom and dad or with their roommates, that now it's time to go do their own thing.
Well, that's good. Well, that's a little off the subject, but I guess it's still pertinent, isn't it?
It's cool.
It's
exciting as can be.
Okay, in both fields, for being the mayor here and for your business too, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right, so let's get started on here. We talked about a lot of developments. We ran out of time, so of course. But let's talk about that, the goal line, rapid transit. Now it's going to be 10 miles of bus line. You want to tell us when and where and where it's going? So
think about, especially for people who are watching, think about light rail light. So the bus rapid transit guideline is a dedicated guideway. So it's a straight piece of property, asphalt, that's only for the buses and emergency vehicles for roughly 80% of that 11-mile distance. That 11-mile distance stretches from St. Paul, Union Depot, on the north side of 94 typically, and then comes through Oakdale, is going to go over a new bridge across 94 into Woodbury, and then terminating over by the shopping center in Woodbury. So the purpose of this that I was really excited about was that it's not as expensive as the light rail. It's about half the cost, yet still provides a permanence for the developers and for people to have assurance that there's going to be an improvement of transit along this way. What's different about this too is because it's a dedicated guideway, people can purchase their home, rent their apartments, establish their business along the guideway, and know that there's a way to get their employees to their businesses or their customers to their businesses or to their homes. And this is one of the cool factors. Another cool factor is that it's going to run every 11 to 15 minutes during the high time of the day. So early morning till early evening, 11 to 15 minutes, it's going to be running continuously, so that the notion that somebody can pick up the transit bus at Oakdale and get to, say, the 3M facility in Maplewood. They can do that. Boom, they get a call, their son or their daughter is sick, they got to leave. If it's on a typical express bus, it doesn't run. But because ours does run regularly, routinely, they can make arrangements to get home or to get back to their place to take care of their family.
Okay,
so the timeliness and the frequency is huge.
Okay, very important. I understand that. But now we're having quite a conflict in terms of people aren't going to work in the downtown areas now. So I mean, that was a wrench thrown in your plans. I mean, there's no question about that. How are you dealing with that? Are you still going ahead full steam or what? I mean, how are you working out?
We are going full steam. And the kicker is if people look at this as a short-term investment or short-term opportunity, that's an error, because it's not. It's too expensive. It's just not going to pan out under the short term, especially under the COVID rules. This is a long term. This is a decades in the planning and decades in the future once it's operational for it to be effective. And like it or not, we are in competition for good people, for businesses, for activities, sports, all these different amenities for the community. And a transit system that works is one of those boxes that must be checked off for businesses, for people to come. So this is going to be enhancement to the greater East Metro, and thankfully Oakdale is going to be having two of the stations, bus stations, one towards Landfall and the other one up on the hill at Helmel.
Okay, and those are going to be the Helmo Station, is that correct?
Correct.
Because they're building what? The Cornerstone by Bethesda. Let's talk about that one time.
Bethesda Communities, what a interesting company, what a dynamic company. And so they came and they liked the idea of what was happening with the Gold Line, what was happening with Oakdale, what was happening with the East Metro, and all the amenities that we can offer. What I liked about it and what our council liked about it is this is a organization from Wisconsin, headquartered in Wisconsin, that consciously integrates able-bodied people and people with disabilities in a community, but it's a conscious decision, and so that the amenities of the facility are done very well. The attributes of it, the quality of the materials, really, really well done. The underground parking, the elevators, again, just really well done. So at the end of the day, and they're planning on starting construction this spring, it'll be a 3-story building, 71 units, and they're also going to be an affordability component to that, that they're going to market to the Oakdale folks first, Oakdale and Washington County folks first. Oh, so another good
that attribute. Is so great. Okay, so then, and the other one was the Greenway Station?
Right.
There's another one, okay.
The Greenway Station is down just off Greenway, and will allow people to access Apostolic Bible Institute students and faculty, people from Landfall, the whole neighborhood of Greenway.
That's not on the Reagan property, is it? That's a different thing, isn't it?
That's a different thing. This would be just on the Hudson Boulevard at Greenway Station.
Okay.
So it's part of that. That's one of the areas that the buses are going to work and ride with vehicles. There's just no room. Think about 94, east-west. Then you got the area for the snow. As you're moving north, you got the area for the snow. Then you got Hudson Boulevard. Then you got a little bit of right-of-way. Then you got Tanner's Lake. Yeah. So this is an area that we decided it made sense to have the buses run with the traffic until it got on the east side or west side of that stretch on Hudson. Then it goes into its own lane again. But that's another great great establishment for a station.
I want to get back to that Bethesda. I think when I think Bethesda, I think of the Bethesda Hospital. Yeah. Is that anything to do with that?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I wonder how they got the name of Bethesda. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. You probably told me, but I can't remember. No, the other cool thing about that is where the Bethesda is going to be, that Cornerstone property and the Helmo Station, that development we call as a 17-hour commercial retail area. So I anticipate that there'll be coffee shops, maybe a bar grill, some services, office providers, maybe medical. But at the end of the day, rather than just doing an 8 to 5, the goal is to have that be a 17-hour development, which is cool.
That is really great. Yes. I mean, that's something. Okay, so now we hit pretty much the new stuff. One other thing I just want to mention is there's tentatively going to be something going in down on the Tanner's Lake property. Yes. Where's that at this point?
So the Tanner's Lake property is just east of the 3M property, or the 3M complex. And beautiful, attractive, very interesting, unique site. Lots of visibility from the 94, lots of visibility from the road frontage. And the company that we had a development agreement with, that they wanted to build a hotel there, came to us and had the discussion that it wasn't moving as fast. So
on your part or their part?
Call it COVID. I'm going to chalk it up to COVID. It was COVID changed the whole world of travel and of residential stays. Very, very few hotels are moving forward at this point that wasn't already in the ground. So they had to take a pause. We did terminate the development agreement, and we're actively marketing and searching for somebody else to step in there.
Okay, so is it dead with that company or on hold?
And the official development agreement ended. Okay. They're still interested in the property. We're still interested in them as a company, but we were unable to and unwilling to keep it in their court exclusively. Okay. So they could come back with another idea, and I hope they do, or somebody else can step in.
Sure. Okay, and then and I wanted to ask you too. I meant to ask this before. When COVID hit, how did the city of Oakdale adjust to it? And I'm talking about the city hall,
facilities,
and the people there and everything.
Yep.
How did that go?
You know, I think it went tenuously, quite frankly. COVID was such a disaster, such a contagion that had to be dealt with, and people were fearful, uncertain, overreacting, underreacting.
Oh,
I mean, it was a
'cause
total.
it's all new. It was all new, wasn't
Yep.
it?
And the rumors and the thoughts about it. And in our case, our leadership, our city administrator was new. So Chris Volkers had just begun with us a number of months before. And at the end of the day, I really give kudos and tip my hat to our leadership because they did a good job. The net effect of it was people went home, except for the folks who could not. But people went home and worked out of their home. The technology was adjusted to allow them to do that well, to keep security in the information. But for the people who were able to, they went home and performed their work there. For the people who needed to come in, we made sure that the workspace was adjusted, that there was plenty of space, that the masks were there when appropriate, that we adjusted our mechanical systems, we adjusted our doors operations, and we adjusted our cleaning schedule. So we did everything. We could to, with what we understood, to get it to be a safe environment. Now the folks, example, we used to have our public works guys and gals and ride together, tag team together in the trucks.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Oh, I'll be darned.
So we split that crew up. So the department heads made the adjustments as needed to allow people to be safe and feel safe. And that's just a minor example of one of the changes that happened, that we split up that tag team approach and gave everybody their individual trucks and vehicles.
I think you even had the council meetings by visual, right?
You know what? We didn't.
You did it?
We chose to come.
Good for you.
We chose to say that that was important because of the quality of interaction and quality of conversation. That outside of maybe one time we did a Zoom, but the rest was in person, spread out, limited staff members, limited people coming, and we had the Zoom technology that if you were going to come, say with your business and ask for a variance or a special situation, we could allow you to come by Zoom. You didn't have to come into the chambers, and we could continue conducting business. So it was a significant pain. It was a major problem across the board. There were several people who did get contracted the COVID illness, and I'm very pleased to say that as we speak today, I'm told that everybody is healthy and doing well.
The whole COVID business it's so erratic, to say the least. I mean, I've got customers whose wives get it, and they're sleeping together, and he doesn't get it. I mean, it's just a weird darn disease, isn't it? I mean, nothing's standard about it, correct?
Yep. In the seriousness of it, there's the naysayers, there's the other folks that are scared to death. But, it is a real disease. It is a real contagion. It is a real illness. And for whatever reason, certain people are significantly affected. And I'm pleased to say that the numbers of people in the city employees was few. We had several that were significantly affected, and I understand that they are healthy again. So that's a blessing, and that's great.
Another thing, and I happen to notice because I drive by there all the time, the Polar Plastics Company. You know where that is?
Sure do.
They installed 3 big silos. Did you? They must have had to come through the council for that, didn't they?
They probably came through the building inspection department for the permits, but because it was an allowable use and well within the guidelines, they don't need council approval.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I like about the city and about our organization and administration. We can be accused of being nanny and nitpickers about things, but more so allowing people to do their business, to do their life, to do their requirements that are within the rules.
Sure.
And that was what happened there. They are totally within their rules and rights on that zoning to install those new tanks.
And I went by there one day and I saw this big silo be lifted up. What? And so I drove in there and parked and I watched them put in those 3 silos,
Yep.
big cranes and all that. And I talked to the person lady came out and she was watching it from the inside the building. I forget what she said. I think she said each tank would hold a boxcar full of plastics.
Plastic pellets.
Pellets,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So they don't have to have shipments coming in every day. I mean, how smart and cool was that? And they just walked along and did it, right?
Yes. See, the investment that people choose to make, whether it's a single-family home, whether it's a rental facility, whether it's a business, whether it's an expansion, but the investments that people continue to make in Oakdale in their work is just another sign that the 2 decades of work that the organization, that the city has done to set the stage for people to feel comfortable about coming to Oakdale, coming
Sure.
and making investments, significant investments,
Sure.
is paying off. And we're conscious, very conscious, that we're going to continue doing that over the next years to keep that excitement, to keep the ability for people to come, make their living here, risk their capital, have a return on their capital, and continue to do well.
Sure.
And that's just a sign that it's working.
Absolutely. Now, that's another point. One of the things Oakdale prides itself on is if you come to Oakdale with a development of some sort, the process you have it is streamlined as you possibly can, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think what you're referring to is probably the design guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So if a developer or a building person wants to come in and do a project, if it's within zones,
Mm-hmm.
no variances, within the design guidelines, they can proceed with getting a permit without having to go through the planning process or the city council approval process. Again, as long as it's no exceptions
Sure.
and no issues.
Sure. But it's the process. The city
process
has made
is-
the process as fast as they possibly can.
Yes.
If there's anything that irks contractors is all the red tape they have to go through to get something done, correct?
Yep.
And you guys, you cut that out.
Yes.
Good move. That was a good move.
Agreed.
Who can we thank for that one? Craig
You know,
Walder?
We'll
do you
go back
think?
to Mayor Sirac. We'll
Sirac
go back
and-
to City Administrator Waldron.
Craig
we'll go back
Waldron.
to Rich McNamara,
Yep, yeah.
Bob Streeter,
Yeah.
Susie Warren.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of people involved in ensuring that as long as it met the requirements, there's no need for delays
Exactly. I think,
and
and that's
government intrusion.
so smart. If again, as I said, if there's anything that ticks the contractor's office, all the red tape they have to go through, and you cut that out very well. Okay, so then we also got AutoZone at the Oakdale Station. So tell us where the Oakdale Station is, and then AutoZone.
So the Oakdale Station is the development near a Target. Think about Pins, Target, and then you have the AutoZone. So it's just south of Old Highway 5, which is now called County Road 14. And I think they were super smart to locate there because of the number of rooftops that are going to be occurring just north.
Yep.
So just on the other side of Old Highway 5, County Road 5, is the development forefront, the old Amation building, but then the 1,400 units of housing just to the north of that. And that whole development will come south to the County Road 14 right in front of AutoZone.
So it's a great leap of faith for those people to put it in this early. But I think they're smart. They know what they're doing, right?
Yes,
Don't
they
you
do.
think?
They're pros. They're
They're
pros.
pros, absolutely. Okay, the other one,
And they
piece-
offer good products. The products.
Oh, absolutely, of
Going
course.
in there and talking with the folks, the service techs. Wow, good products. They understood exactly what I was looking
Well,
for.
they're national, I do believe, aren't they? Yeah, that's a big company. Okay, now the other thing is Peaceful Lodge down on Hudson Road.
Yep.
Talk to us about that. That's a wonderful idea there. Go
So
ahead.
Peaceful Lodge and the idea that the owners, and I'm sorry, I just can't think of that person's name, but when they came and said we'd like to retrofit and renovate the old hotel that was there into a seniors community, everybody said, well, yes, great idea. Now, how they pulled it off and what they designed around it and then did a small expansion turned out to be terrific. So it's a privately run community for seniors, and they took this existing building and redeveloped it into something much more
Were
beneficial.
that new owners that came in and did this, or was it the same people?
I believe it was new owners that I
New
recall.
owners, yeah, they
Yep.
came in and expanded it and
Correct.
did That's a heck of an idea, isn't it? A
Yes.
very great concept.
Yeah, I think they were able to use the bones, the good bones of
Right.
the apartment or the hotel that was there, and then expand, take down some walls, added other walls to create the individual living units.
Yeah.
So it had good bones, and they did a significant amount of improvements also
Sure.
to make it very appealing.
Okay, we're getting close to running out of time here, but I want to go over. There's a half-cent tax increase
Yes.
that will be coming, and hopefully, in my opinion.
I hope so.
But you tell us about that. That's I think that's we should know about this.
Yep. Frank, what you're referring to is the half-cent sales tax option that we were successful in getting legislative approval to ask our residents for their approval come this November. So what it's going to do is we have two significant municipal needs on facilities. Our current public works building needs to be redone. The facility is outmoded, outdated. It doesn't allow our equipment that's very expensive to be inside and protected from the elements. It has outdated and some air quality concerns with the HVAC system. So that thing needs to move. The other project is our police department, which has been living since, I'm going to say 84 in that facility. Yep. And so our lockers for women officers, our specialized room areas for evidence, for ammunition, for security, for interview rooms, for detectives, just really the whole environment is not working well with the growth of our force and our sophistication of our force.
Sure.
Now the other thing that is no longer working well is the idea that we can have our squad cars outdoors 24/7. And so a portion of this project that we're planning is to have a garage for all the squad cars. So not only are they going to be warm in the winter at -20 when the shift change happens,
Sure.
The equipment that are in the cars when the shift change happens is going to be protected, and it's just going to be a much more secure environment for
Absolutely.
all the officers.
Yeah. Computers.
On the point though is that just because we have legislative approval for funding of those two facilities doesn't mean that we can just do it automatically. So part of the process is to get residents to vote on it, and there'll be information being shared, significant information this summer
Right.
about the need, about the costs, about the value in doing these things. And council is very, very optimistic that the vote will be in favor of enacting the sales tax.
Yep.
So it's not only the Oakdale residents paying for it, but it's everybody that's
Everybody coming
purchasing
in. And you know,
products.
we have some pretty big companies in our midst. We got Fleet Farm and Menards and Home Furniture now.
Yep.
They will contribute a lot to this tax. It's not coming out of our citizens' pockets, generally speaking.
Correct.
It is,
'Cause-
and even then, it's a minor amount of money.
Well, that's the truth about this is that these are not optional projects. So if we didn't go after the sales tax and ask for that permission to have half-cent sales tax, it would have to be done on the property levy.
Sure.
And since it's beneficial to the broader community, not just Oakdale residents, this is a much more effective way of financing those two buildings.
Yep. I am just so in favor of it, and you know, I think we have to work with the community to try to get them to understand this. I think, generally speaking, I think people are in favor of it. Do you think? Or
I
what do
think
you
so
know?
too.
I think so.
And we're going to work very hard to get the correct information out.
Absolutely.
Just so the understanding level is high.
Yep. Yep.
There's going to be a bunch of flurry of activity in November.
Absolutely.
So we have to cut through that to be sure that these two projects are understood and voted in
Absolutely.
the positive.
You hate to say it, but it's going for a good cause. New maintenance shed and for the cops.
And it's insignificant. It's 1/2 of 1%
Yes.
sales tax.
Absolutely.
So
And again, there's other people coming into our community that's going to hit. Okay, Paul, we're out of time. But I think we covered just about everything, but not quite. We could probably have you back on the show again one more time to get caught up totally.
I'd love to do it.
Okay, thanks for coming.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.